Hello history, and hello to everyone watching. Today we start another series, Top 10 in London. Episode 1, Top 10 London inventions you can find in your house. Let's start with champagne, or sparkling wine in general. Dom Perignon may have all the fame and money, but he should thank Christopher Merret for his invention. Merret in 1662 in London presented his findings on adding sugar to wine and created second fermentation. This method was known before, but winemakers who experimented with it had glass bottles explode by the buildup of gas inside. Merret also improved glass making technique, and English manufacturers in late 17th century could produce bottles strong enough to hold sparkling wine years before Dom Perignon started his work. What about a cup of tea? And another London invention, automatic electric kettle. Imagine life without it, keeping the fire on, waiting, and when it's boiling and you're not there to take it off, it ruins the kettle. Whistle kettle was an improvement, but the breakthrough happened in South London in 1955 thanks to two men, William Russell and Peter Hobbs, today known as Russell and Hobbs. Their kettle had inside bimetallic strip that under high temperature expanded and touched the switch to enjoy hot coffee outside when water was boiling. Thermal mug or a thermos. Scottish scientist James Dewar, working in London in 1892, built these two containers and pumped out the air from the gap between them. The temperature inside was stable regardless the outside conditions. It was useful in laboratory, but Dewar didn't bother to patent his invention. 10 years later, German glass blowers based on this designed a flask to keep hot drinks hot and cold drinks cold. And they patented it under the name Thermos. So hugely popular that from brand name it became a word, a generic term. While waiting for a kettle to boil, you can entertain yourself with another London invention, Jigsaw puzzle. Started by 18th century cartographer John Spilsbury, who cut a wooden map of Europe into pieces along borders. It was used to teach geography and later started featuring all kinds of pictures to assemble. Despite its name, they never used a jigsaw, but a thread saw to cut it. I guess thread saw puzzle didn't sound good. Now we have countless jigsaw puzzles, some huge, some 3D, but I think the most difficult is the one without picture. When you lose a piece of puzzle, be careful not to suck it in by a vacuum cleaner. 1901, Hubert Cecil Booth put a tissue on a dusty chair and with his mouth sucked in the tissue. The spot on the chair was clean and all the dust was on the tissue. The first vacuum cleaner was a huge machine pulled by horses parked outside the house, which was cleaned with huge long hoses. Other inventors adjusted Booth's idea and portable vacuum cleaners were produced, most famously by American William Henry Hoover, and in many countries they say Hoover instead of vacuum. People use vacuum to clean dog hair, but what about dog food? In 1860, James Spratt lived in London and noticed dogs gathering around ships' yards to eat leftover hardtack, which is a special dry biscuit the sailors ate. Spratt adapted the recipe to suit dogs, and out of mixture of vegetable, wheat, beetroot, meat, and blood, dog biscuits were made. They were bought by aristocrats to feed racing dogs. Canned meat for dogs appeared after 1918, made of horse meat because of excess of horses after the war. Now horse meat is not used anymore, but dog biscuits are still a popular treat. If you order a dog food, you can use courier or post office. In 17th century, a letter costed 1 penny, as indicated by this wooden stamp dipped in ink. But it was the recipient who had to pay. If someone didn't accept the letter or a parcel, the postman worked for free. In 1837, Rowland Hill modernized postal system, making the sender responsible and introduced the little piece of paper confirming the payment like stamp before, hence the name. Black penny, the first stamp issued in 1840, opened the world of philately with millions of stamps, some of them worth millions. There are also millions of flush toilets in the world. John Harrington in 16th century came up with the first design, which did flush but required a lot of water and was smelly. In 18th century, Alexander Cummings added S-shaped pipe connecting to the sewer. This pipe filled with water stopped bad smell coming back. Finally, Thomas Crapper in late 19th century started mass production. Crapper changed S into U-shaped pipe and invented the ball cock that improved flushing. That's why many call it a crapper, as Crapper name was painted inside balls. Finally, the invention that makes these recordings possible, a microphone. In 19th century, David Edward Hughes wanted to amplify and transmit the voice using new technology. And he built his first microphone using carbon parts. It looks strange, but it transmitted the voice. He didn't want to patent his invention, believing it should be open for others to improve it. At the same time, Thomas Edison was working on the microphone, and he of course did patent his invention. And their shared effort made possible all the microphones in phones, computers, and on stage. From microphone to television, there were many attempts to transfer a movable image using wires. Finally, Scottish inventor John Logie Baird demonstrated it in 1926 in London. He used this Nipkow disc, a rotating scanning device with cameras, to transfer the image of Stucky Bill. Next year, first long-distance transmission from London to Glasgow, then later to New York. In 1928, John Logie Baird demonstrated colored television. It was a girl changing hats of different colors, and she grew up to be a TV producer and actress, Noel Gordon, the first person to appear on colored television. In the next episodes, we will show you more top 10 lists associated with London, England, and the UK. If you have any suggestions and comments, please let me know and subscribe for more episodes. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.